Hello, my name is Hidekuni or Hide, and welcome back to my channel. I'm an artist and I take you with on my journey of creating art, and in this video I will finish my art pieces, like my canvases, for my art gallery. Today is the 20th of March, and the reason why this video comes out a bit later is because this video should have come out the same date as I had to finish all my art pieces and also go to the gallery to hang them up. So I was a bit stressed, I had to focus on my art, I had to finish all of them, and that's why I said that I will bring out this video a bit later so I have the time to go over all the footage, and I recorded a lot, but also to edit it properly and also record the voiceover. So here I am, and hopefully this video can come out tomorrow or the day after. Then again, I was very stressed due to me having to finish them in time, and I still had quite a bunch to do when I went back to this project. I uploaded a previous video in which I already started and showed you how I prepare everything, and also talked a bit about the gallery and the topic of the gallery, which is identity. And this year also has the subcategory of time, if I can say it like that. I was already over that in my last video, so if you want to see how I got started and talk about it, please check it out. When I came back to this, I still had a bunch to do. At that time, I think I painted like 2 shoes, and one of them already got some of their embroidery, but I wasn't very far in, especially since I planned in 6 shoes, and each one of them was different and unique and had their own special things like patches or embroidery or like other things, and that was quite overwhelming. So when I went back to it, I didn't really know how to start. I forced myself through a bit by picking out one shoe, then working on it, then putting it away, taking another one, and I jumped between the canvases around, figuring out what I had to do, because there was also no fixed vision for each single shoe. I just went with the flow until I was satisfied. So that was very overwhelming. Another reason why I also started that plate is because I needed the pressure of me having to finish something and the deadline coming closer and closer. So that's why I mostly focus on it the week before having to hand it in. And before that, I easily got distracted with other things, and that's also the reason why I would like to talk about some of these throughout this process, while at times also talking about my process and giving some more insight of the things I did. Also, before I went back, I had to focus on my conventions. Like in my previous video, I had Gamers Resort and Anime Focal, and in addition to that, I also prepared things for RedNerdCon, which will be the topic of my next video. So be excited for that. At this point, it will also come out pretty close to this one, because this one is a bit behind and the other one should be on time. So I think they will be like a week apart or so. For this project, I wanted to create alternative shoes, and I decided on 6 different subcultures, if you could say it like that. Then again, I took the main idea very loosely and adjusted it and just personalized it in a way I could see people wear them without being too harsh about representing everything correctly. So if it doesn't make sense sometimes, that's why, because I just wanted to be mainly inspired by it. And my main inspirations were grunge, pastel, goth, punk, some kind of emo and Decora, and cottagecore. And with those 6 main ideas, I created my shoes. For my Decora inspired shoe, I used pink as a base because I wanted to keep it cute and also contrast with the other shoes. Like overall, I had to see that I wouldn't have too much of the same vibe and colors from shoe to shoe. Why I chose pink for Decora, violet for the pastel one, red for the punk, I have black for grunge and goth, and green for cottagecore. Like that, I would have enough black tones in it, because I think black is one of the most common colors for this kind of shoe, and then have variations of colors for certain styles which would suit. So for Decora, I put the main colors down and then I went crazy. I wanted to capture this energy of people just straight up drawing onto their all-stars like you would do at home or even in class. And for that, I also used my postcards because these pens are often used for this kind of style, and when people actually want to draw on their shoes, like of course you can use anything and most people use anything, but I thought postcard would be perfect for this kind of job. What I also like about postcard is that you can just layer them whenever you want to, or when you did a mistake, you can just take the color and put a new layer on, wait a bit until it's dry, and maybe even put a second or third coat on. And so I just went in and started with random elements and patterns and colors, and from there on I just went with the vibe and saw how it would come together. I added in a checkerboard pattern because first of all I like it and I think it just suits the aesthetic of emo so much. And then for the rest, some slime, some stars, rainbows, and overall just anything that came into my mind. I like mushrooms, so I later on added also a mushroom. And then I just had the urge to draw a tentacle to contrast with the colors a bit. Like I think the green with the pink, violet aesthetic suits very well. And I don't know, just a random tentacle here. Then again, it doesn't have to make sense what you put onto your shoes. You can do whatever you want. And of course a smiley, because we want to keep the good vibe on here. Throughout the process, I really like how playful the Decora shoe got. And it's one of the ones I am most proud of and like most, despite the proportions being a bit off. I feel like I would have loved to draw the base a bit differently, but overall it's one of the shoes I love most. Then let's talk about Pastel. This was the shoe I actually started with. Overall, it was the first canvas I attacked and put on the base colors and painted the shoe. And then I went in with the embroidery. Overall, I got my inspiration from Pinterest as well, because you just have so many pictures on there and you easily have pictures that are similar to each other. So I just went there and I overall chose like the pastel colors because it's like literally the vibe of that aesthetic, and then looked up what kind of shapes people would embroider on it. So we had hearts and stars and also some flowers, but I wanted to keep the flowers and plants for the cottagecore vibe. Why I also decided for some simple patterns and just fill it randomly. Well, I put on one flower, but I also used colors I knew I wouldn't use for the cottagecore ones later on. And like that I filled it up. Overall, it's a rather simple shoe because, for example, the Decora one is very cluttered, if I may say so. Why I wanted to keep the cottagecore one and the pastel one very simple. The hardest thing about the ones that have embroidery, like the pastel ones, was that I immediately glued on the cardboard onto the canvases, and due to that I had the wood of the canvases right behind, and when I wanted to embroider something or like stitch something on, I had to work around that wood because I couldn't just simply stitch through it. So that was something I only noticed throughout the process and made it a bit hard. But eventually I managed because I either just stitched diagonally, like I would stitch to the side and not straight into the cardboard if the wood was there, or I would avoid the pattern I wanted to go and adjust it to the canvas situation. So that probably made it harder for me and also hindered some visions to be recreated, but I had to adjust. And overall, how it turned out, it still looks good. I think if you look at the shoe just like that, you wouldn't say that it got interrupted by anything and that it has a complete design. Well, for the cottagecore one, I wanted to make it very clear and obvious, so I went for green as the base because green and plant, it just suits together. And on top of that, I also want to keep the embroidery for it, because that's also something that I connect with cottagecore so much, to just embroider flowers and plants on everything, and that's exactly what I went for. It's very straight to the point, it's very obvious, like I didn't have like big thoughts behind it. I just wanted to straight up represent cottagecore in its purest and most easiest form. And despite it being so easy, I still think it's very interesting to look at. I also in general love the texture each shoe has, because yes, it's painted on, but they have the laces, they have the embroidery, they have the patches, and anything else I used. Like, it's very entertaining and pleasing in my opinion, not only for the eyes, but also if you would touch it. Like, I in general don't mind if people touch my canvases, as long as their fingers are like proper or like not smudged with any substance. But just also touching these kind of canvases is so much fun. And I love that it is not only visually aesthetically pleasing, but also it just speaks to so much than only the eyes. For the punk, I used red as a base color, and as usual, I just put all the main shapes in, and then from there on started to alter it. Since October I had a patch laying around because I miscut it, so it was cut through the middle, and I didn't want to throw it away, so I just kept it aside to like eventually stitch onto one of my clothes or such. But then I was working on this project and I just knew I could use it for it, because it's okay if it's messy, it's okay if it's broken, I can just sew it onto the shoe and make it look intentional. And that's exactly what I did. So I had my little Wendigo patch which I put on. I also put on a patch of a band which is Mindless Self-Indulgence. It's a band I also like. I like some songs of them. And I just made a patch for them, put them on, because I wanted to have the connection to the music. And it's a patch I would wear. Now thinking about it, I should have just created a second patch for myself. Damn, here we are. My fictional shoe has a patch I would like to wear, and I didn't make one for myself. And I just noticed that. But yes, I went in with the patches, and then I also wanted to smudge the shoe a bit, also to make it look worn, so I added some black ink, and overall added some blood splatters, because personally I like that aesthetic a lot, and I have acrylics laying around in a spray bottle, so that made it so much easier to apply it. And I rarely use them, so I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to use them. So I protected the main shoe and added the blood splatters onto the sole. I hope I pronounced that right. And from there on I just brought everything together. Initially I also wanted to add some words onto the shoe, but throughout the process I forgot about it, and it still looks coherent and put together, so I'm not that mad about it. But if I would ever go back in, I might add some. One of the few things I want to talk about next to these paintings, what I still show you some of the footage since I recorded so much, is about a design, which is this one. I had the idea since quite some time, and I got it because I like some songs of Slipknot, and a friend of mine likes Slipknot, and my brother likes Slipknot, and my brother has a shirt, like a hoodie, with this design, which I really like. I just like the goat. I also once painted that one design onto a Nutella glass, just so I could gift it to him for Christmas, and it was a fun little project. But overall I like this goat design. I think it's super cool, and I also like the colors and such. And so whenever I think of Slipknot, I have to think of that goat. And whenever I hear Slipknot, I have to think of Sleepnot, which is a word pun which I personally think is funny. And so I wanted to combine that goat and Slipknot, so I made a sleepy goat. And when I started this project, my main idea was to create a t-shirt design out of this and have it on t-shirts, mostly for myself, because the goat design is just a hoodie design for me, and it's just so vivid for me like that. Like when I see that goat, it's I immediately think of hoodie, and that's why I wanted to create it for a t-shirt design. And I now test printed one. Like, not only did I get stickers of it, because that would be fun too, but I also already got a test print for a shirt, and I am currently wearing that one to see how the quality is and how it feels like. So far it is very soft in touch, like I like it. It's not like very clunky or thick. It suits the fabric. The fabric of the shirt itself is also fine, and also the cut, which was very important for me because I like to have longer sleeves and in general wear my shirts in oversize, and that's what is the most comfort for me. So investing into t-shirts is quite expensive, and that's why I am currently looking for a manufacturer that would suit. So I ordered a test print and wear the heck out of it. Like that I can see if the quality is what I want, if it holds long, if it's comfortable over time, and then I can see if I want to buy a big quantity from them, because as I said, t-shirts are quite expensive, so I want to be really sure who I use to order from, and then also I can see if people are in the first place interested in such. Another thing I did is I created scenes. Like over the last weeks, I was every now and then editing my sketchbook scenes, which is just literally me taking my old sketchbooks, scanning in the pages and art I really like, and then creating a little art book zine out of it. One of them has 20 pages, the other one 24, and it's like just silly little zines about my art from my sketchbooks. It took me quite some time to edit them and to find the right layout. I still have some mistakes in which I have to get out for the next time, but I got a test print over like I think 3 weeks ago or so, and then I adjusted some more things, and then I ordered quite some quantity of them, and now I have them, and so far I sold one, which is also already very exciting. I think it's a great idea to just use your sketchbooks for more than just having them standing around once they are done, because sometimes I have gems inside of them which I really like and make me very proud, and I wanted to share these with other people. So I think making a little booklet out of it is just a great idea to show them to people. What's also very funny for this, I ordered 20 of each and I have 2 sketchbook zines, so that is a total of 40, but instead I got a total of 59 because they just gave me so many more booklets, and that's insane. Like, I wasn't expecting that. Sometimes if you order things you get like 4 or 5 more max, like not necessarily 19. Like 19 is a lot, especially for it being like booklets, you know? It's not like stickers, so it's like, it's books. But I'm very happy about how they turned out, and for that I also painted my display, which I think I showed in the last video, but I painted it black and now I could also finally use it, but more of that in my next video. I think the golf shoe was the only shoe I had somewhat of a clearer vision for it, but then again the golf theme made it very easy for me, because first of all I wanted it to be black, which is not that hard, and then I wanted to have a very sophisticated, slick design and composition, but I wanted something that would contrast with the black, and the easiest thing was jewelry, or for clothes like that, spikes and studs and just metal. And luckily I had some studs laying around. They were perfect in size for this project. I used them for it, and also to not just have a black shoe with studs on. The skull is a symbol that is often used in goth aesthetic and in the subculture due to its meaning and how it gets seen and what it represents. So I just transformed the All-Star symbol into a skull. Like that I would still have the theme of the All-Star in, but I would make it just so much cooler, because I think it looks cooler than just having like the All-Star logo on there and then a skull somewhere else. Like, it was just perfect to use for such. Also due to the skull having this big round shape, and also light because I still used a white kind of shade, it still has the connection towards the logo, because it's also just a round white logo. So people that would see it still have the connection to the brand. One thing I'm very proud of with this project is that for the eyelets, I think that's the right word, but for the eyelets, I wanted them to not be painted and flat and all that, but I wanted them to look a bit like real eyelets. I was also shortly considering using real eyelets, and I have some at home, but they are not silver. And also due to perspective, some of them aren't really round in the paintings, so I couldn't change that about them, why I threw this idea away. And instead I used some medium. I mixed it with some metallic, silver, some black, and mixed my own silver, and it turned out so great. Like, I was really happy with how it turned out. And then I put it into a bag, and then I piped it on, and I didn't know if it would work out at first. I just tried it, and it really did work out. It looks good. I like that you can go over it with your finger and you can feel it, and that it's outstanding and a bit three-dimensional, and it gives everything more depth, and I really love that. And after the eyelids were on, I let them dry, which I was very scared of like knocking over the canvases and then having everything smudged or so I was very cautious with that. I don't know, at the end I was just so anxious about my artwork because I was scared that messing it up would ruin everything, and at that point I just put already so much time into it, and I had no time for mistakes. I had no time to redo things because it was literally the day before I had to give everything in, so I couldn't have mistakes in that process. Once everything was painted, everything was sewn on, stapled, embroidered, and anything else, I put a varnish on. Like that, I could bring first of all everything together, and secondly, it would also be protected. And I made sure that not too much would touch the actual cardboard to keep it in its natural look. To make sure I got what I wanted, I also tested it and put some of the varnish onto a piece of cardboard to see how it would look like, and since I didn't like it, I chose to not apply it on there. Hence, I only made sure the varnish would be on the shoes itself. Yet, nothing was as scary as the last step. After everything was dry and the shoes were painted and all, I had to cut holes into the painting to then be able to lace them properly with real laces. For that, I also altered some laces, like one lace got colored pastel violet for my very soft looking shoe, and then I also ruined the other one for my grunge shoe and mess it up and make it dirty, and also cut a bit through it to make it look worn down and not as nicely anymore. And then the shoe that I probably had the most struggles with due to the composition, due to me having to use different kind of materials, and I stapled some of it and also sew some patch, like a patch on, and I really tried to make it look messy and broken and fixed. Like, I had most struggles with this kind of shoe. I also had to make it look dirty and used, and if you wear a shoe like that on a daily basis, it eventually will fall apart. Like my shoes break so easily, and it's very easy to achieve that style by just wearing them, but I couldn't just wear this kind of shoe because it's a painting, so recreating it was an interesting challenge. Also because in art, people often try to achieve beauty, and this is the opposite of it. Like, it is supposed to look ugly in some way, yet it is totally an aesthetic, but I tried to just make it look worn and worn down, and we still just use what we have and go with it and make it a look, and I think that's so cool. Like, I really like it, but this was a challenge. And with that, I went with you throughout the process of how I created my 6 paintings for the gallery Beyond My Eyes. I had a lot of fun with this project. It was challenging. It was completely new for me to work with cardboard, to lace shoes that were painted, to combine patches and embroidery with painting, and overall create something I have never ever created so far. I would be curious to see what's your favorite shoe and what kind of aesthetic you like most. Because I also have to see how I hang them up.
I think it would be easiest to do 3 and 3.
Yeah, I think so too, like 3 and 3.
The controller.
Yes.
I murdered myself on accident. It's not straight by any means.
It's pretty straight.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Did not take 3 hours.
No, it did not take 3 hours.
Morning.
Bye, Anne. Merci.
I need to come on opening night.
Yes, please. That would be so great.
I will. I come by train that day, and I will be here. No matter if I'm an hour late, I come an hour late. I don't care.
And now I can take pictures and then I can edit them and then I can do stickers out of them, make stickers out of them. So let's hope that I can just do it very quickly because I have to get ready because today is the day of the gallery. Today is the 22nd of March and today is opening day and I'm currently getting ready because I have to be there and I'm excited for it already. Like I never was at such a thing. Like I was at an opening of a gallery 2 years ago, but I don't know, that felt smaller and this now feels proper and big and I'm just excited. But I have to get ready now and drive there and then see how the evening goes, and I try to record some stuff, but I don't know yet if I will put it into this video or in the next video because I planned on putting it into the next video, but I have to see because I'm still editing because I ran late and it's so much work this time because I have to go through over 4 hours of footage and I don't simply speed it up, I just cut it and make it look interesting and it's a lot of work, and so I have to see now. But if I don't put the evening into this video, it will be in the next video, and with that I end this one here. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or feedback, please let me know down in the comments, and yeah, I wish you a good day or night wherever you are. Bye bye.